Hello and welcome back to the channel, Kelly Legends Media. Before I begin, I want to say thank you to all the subscribers. Welcome to all you new subscribers. I really appreciate you guys joining the channel. Enjoy. Also, thank you for hitting those like buttons, those hype buttons, and for leaving your comments in the comment section. I appreciate each and every one of them. Thank you very much. Okay, so today's video, man, I hate doing videos about this guy. I hate mentioning his name, hearing his voice, seeing his face, you know. Just based on the track record that he has and the bad habits and the bad reputation and everything that goes along with this cat, right? Nevertheless, this now content creator, Renee Enriquez, probably one of the system's biggest snitches and rats, okay, has joined Mundo, who also is a very well-known snitch and rat. Both of these guys ratted their way into protective custody, SNY, and in fact, Mundo actually testified against one of his closest brothers, let's say. That's how close this guy was, like a brother. Testified against him, gave up all the drawings so he can go free. What he did was nail in a coffin on Mr. Joe Morgan's box. Put him in prison with no chance of getting out, okay? Joe has since passed away, rest in peace. And, you know, he pretty much held on to his estilo, his beliefs to the very end, okay? Now, back to Renee, okay? Renee has never said anything all the time that he was in the system. He never mentioned this to nobody. Why? Out of fear and respect. Sometimes they come together depending on the situation. But Joe was a very loved person, beloved and respected individual. Okay. And I believe there was a story about Joe correcting Renee one time when Renee was acting foul towards the camaradas. He didn't like it. He didn't like it, you know. And so he always had this little thing about Joe, about this individual that he is now, after he has passed away, more than, I think, like a decade ago, or a little bit more than a decade ago. And he decides to come out and disrespect the guy and say he's a rat. The biggest rat in the system to come out of the Department of Corrections is going to call this individual who held his mud until the show was over a rat. You know? And a lot of this stuff also comes from Mundo. Why didn't Mundo say something when he was part of the shenanigans? Why didn't he speak up? Why didn't he get it taken care of? Why didn't he take care of it himself? You know? But these guys didn't have the power, the gumption, nor the knowledge to approach a man of that caliber. But regardless of anything, there's no respect whatsoever for a person that comes down on an individual after he's passed away and had the individual right in front of their face so many times and never busted a grape, and is calling them something and trying to put a jacket on them that fits both Mundo and Renee very well. They're both known as the biggest snitches. and the biggest rats from CDC. Before Renee came along, it was Mundo. Then Renee came along and blew Mundo out of the water with his snitch activities. You guys, I know the story about Renee Boxer Enriquez, who debriefed, went to the other side, then started working for the federal government and the state to put people in prison. He'd go to court and testify against individuals in different cases and have them locked up. Cholo Juan did a video about this character going to court and testifying against him. So, and he self-admitted, dude self-admitted. But both these individuals know that Mr. Joe Morgan can't speak up for himself. It's the same thing like Chavez, Cesar Chavez. Can't defend himself, and all these allegations and people pointing the fingers and, everybody going off of their feelings instead of at least going through the due process and finding out if these accusations were even possible for him to commit. Just based on time frames and where the individuals were during that time, how old were they, and this, that, and the other. They did nothing. These people came forward, said what they said, and statues started coming down. Anything to take away from Cesar Chavez that he worked through and hung on throughout his lifetime. These two individuals doing the same thing to Mr. Joe Morgan, whose reputation, other than these two guys flapping their gums, has been that he carried his flag to the very end, held his mud to the very end, held on to what he believed to the very end, even though it cost him his life and his freedom and everything he loved out here in the free world. He hung on to it. He didn't break, no matter where they put him, no matter if they put him in solitary, he learned how to adapt, adjust, and continue with what he had to do in his mind and in his heart. These other two individuals did the complete opposite and used what knowledge they had, whatever they participated in, to free themselves and get out of prison. Now, some people may not understand. If you're a civilian, you've never been to prison, if you don't care about people who snitch or people who do things like this, then I understand. To you, all of this is just means nothing to you. But to some people, it says a lot. If you know how to read what's going on and you see what's going on, you would despise hearing somebody with such a huge rap reputation and such a huge rat jacket come forward and speak on somebody who up to them opening their mouth, were all good. Of course, he did things that people disagreed. Everybody does. When you're among a group of men, you're not going to satisfy everybody's desires and live up to everybody's expectations. It's impossible. People are different. People feel different about different decisions that are made. Nevertheless, true, he may not have been the godfather that some people claim to be him to be, but nevertheless, he did have that power and leadership ability and standing to make decisions that the average bearer couldn't and wouldn't make. So I met Joe one time years ago here in my neighborhood, and he just seemed like a regular dude, man, regular nice guy, but like everybody, and I don't exclude myself, there's another individual in us that could be vile and corrupt and vicious, you know. So it's just human nature, man, for some people, especially if you grow up in an environment like ours. I believe Joe was from Fort Maravilla, and of course, everything changes once you dedicate your life to certain things, and you know, you kind of that comes secondary in most cases. But nevertheless, he was born and raised here in the neighborhoods right here, the Maravilla, Boyle Heights area. Uh, Based on the way he grew up around Michigan, but the way the barrios move and the way the homies spread out to the outskirts also, Joe ended up still living right here in the Maravilla area. So, anyways, that's really immaterial for what I'm talking about. It's just that I've always had a certain kind of fondness for the gentleman, you know, and there was a lot that could be learned by the way he carried himself and who he was, you know, both good and bad, you know. For these two men to come along and try to throw a rat jacket on him after he's deceased, they should have handled this stuff when they were part of something, and then opened their mouths and dealt with him where he could have dealt with them man to man, face to face, you know. But like I tell you, you know, people are dirty like that, you know. After you're gone for some time, they come out with some shenanigans like that. So watch what you believe, what you hear. Always, you know, look at both sides and the possibilities of these characters having their own reasoning for doing what they're doing, you know. Mundo put Joe away for good. So him having to turn himself into a rat and a snitch to do that, you know, he's going to try to make excuses for it. And what he's basically saying was that guy wasn't no good. He was this and that and the other. But he should have said something when he was still up on his feet. You know, not after he's passed away and he's been gone for a period of time. Anyways, this is my video for today, man. I just caught Renee Enriquez talking about this, and I was like, man, look at this character, man. You know, he has no shame. You know what I mean? Like, he's a cold monkey, man. Both of them are. Both of them. Real pieces of work. Anyways, I know people are all touchy and scary about mentioning things about these pieces of, you know, whatever, but you know, just gonna put something out there. There has to be some contrast to it, you know, because Renee's, like I said, man, has proven to be the biggest informant, the biggest rat coming out of CDC. And I know he lives with it every day, and I know he thinks about it every day, and I know it eats him up inside every day, you know. So he made his own bed, so he deserves it. This is my video for today, people. Stay free, stay out from behind them walls, make good decisions, and let's stay out here, man, where the getting's good, man, where we could be with our families and our loved ones. God bless you. God bless your family. Thank you for watching.